Hello and welcome to the Miss Rolling In podcast. My name is Jacob Staten, and as always, I'm joined by the man, the myth, the legend, the hair, the curly top piece, JJ Armstrong. JJ, how are you?
I thought you weren't going to ask then. Very good, thank you. Still got my hair cut, much to the displeasure of many a Forest fan. Following I said last week we had a comment about a UFO on my head. Following that, we had a comment from the last episode saying that I look like Blackadder from season 1. Following that, we put up a vlog from the West Ham game that we went to, and someone said that I was having a bad hair day, which for me is basically just every day. So, yes, I do look like this. Move on. Maybe we can do an episode with no comments below about my hair. That would be great, wouldn't it?
Well, I was tempted to do the intro and saying looking like an Oompa Loompa was forced to work in a mine rather than a chocolate factory. It's JJ Armstrong.
Well, I've got a bit of timber on me, so maybe the chocolate factory is still legit. Maybe that's why I'm speaking. Anyway, we're digressing. How are you, Jacob?
Yeah, I'm very well, mate. Thank you. You may still hear in my voice that we went to West Ham on Sunday, didn't we?
We did. Which,
and it was.
I mean, we put a video up. We put a video up, a little vlog. You could check that out on our YouTube channel to sort of see how the day went.
Well, thank you.
But yeah, we did go. Yesterday, my voice was still very sore. It was quite difficult to speak from all the shouting and singing, but what a day it was.
Yeah, I had a number of people yesterday at work asking me if I had a cold, and I was like, no, it's passion, mate.
Passion. It's Premier League win, that's what it is. It's 3 points.
That is what it was. I mean, it was for a neutral, I imagine it was a sensational game.
Absolutely.
For us, it was a sensational game because we won. West Ham fans probably dejected. I mean, their performance, I don't think they deserved the win. Possibly a draw. They did hit the underside of the bar twice. They did have a penalty saved. They'd have a goal ruled out. Maybe a little hard done by with taking nothing from the game, but you know, we rode the lightning, and no, I just think we especially in the first half we outshone them. Absolutely did. Brennan Johnson in the second half with his offside goal was definitely offside. Lovely finish, wonderful finish. We had VAR with 3 VAR incidents with the penalty, the 2 goals. I mean, for my money, they got absolutely everything right. I did initially think that McKenna should have been sent off, but apparently it's the fact that he wasn't essentially the last man. He didn't stop it. He didn't necessarily stop it from going in because Henderson was on behind him and we definitely would have saved it type thing. So, you know, I thought the referee was actually pretty good, which is mind blowing. Just a really, really, really great game, great day. 2:00 kickoffs, bellissima, absolutely perfect. Red hot. It couldn't have been a much better day, could it, JJ?
No, I mean it was very warm. It was red hot. That bit was very uncomfortable. But sticky, in terms, I mean, I watched the game back in full today, just to sort of go over, make sure there's nothing I missed. And it was a great game. Like you say, for a neutral, it would have been very enjoyable. It sort of gave me a bit more of a clearer view of things that we did well in that game as well that you can't always see when you're not watching it from a perfect camera position. So it was all in all just a great day. I think the atmosphere in the pub beforehand, walking to the ground inside the stadium was... I'm trying to think back in my head, but I think it might be better than the playoff semi-final second leg. It was just a pure euphoria. Everyone,
less nerves.
Definitely less nerves. It felt like a special moment. Obviously, we'll talk about the game in depth, but it's important before we start talking about the game to mention the Mull of Kintyre. Great. I know Forza Garibaldi came out and said it was more of an understated display than what they had planned, but I actually think what they did was spot on. I think it was perfect. And that's definitely the loudest I've heard Mull of Kintyre. 100%.
Yeah, my ears, to be honest, one of them's still ringing, I think, from it. I mean, we've both seen that video, haven't we, where somebody's on the other side of the Trent Bridge, right on the other side, on the city side, and yeah, it sounded phenomenal.
Absolutely.
I mean, diving into the game, I think, you know, first half we were absolutely fantastic. You know, they had the goal disallowed. It was a foul, so, you know, kind of ignore that. Our goal, some great play down the left by Harry Toffolo. Obviously, a fortunate finish. He was going to smash it in anyway. So the fact it's come off him, awesome. Great for a 1-year to get a goal. Second half, they came out firing. It felt very similar to the Sheffield United game, actually. They came out firing, but because we kind of held them off, I think maybe our disallowed goal, although it was disallowed, kind of tempered them a little bit. Great finish by Johnson on that as well. So unlucky. But yeah, I'm struggling to think of any negatives, really. I mean, if I'm being extremely picky, I think Joe Worrell was a bit exposed against Ben Rama. But that's being very, very picky. There were some wonderful performances that game. Looking at Mangala and Nico Williams, Harry Toffler really turned up after kind of a very bang average performance against Newcastle. Struggling to think of anything.
Yeah,
kind of controversial to say, really.
I don't think there's anything controversial to say. I think from the very off, it seemed you could tell it was a different performance to that of Newcastle, which was very much needed. I think it was expected, given that we were at home. It's the first Premier League game in 23 years. It was expected to be different, and it was really nice to see the early doors that was going to be the case.
Yeah.
To bring it back, Mangala from the start was exceptional. He was everywhere. Some of his passes were beautiful. I think he seemed to have quite good link-up play with the fullbacks, which was nice to see. Nico Williams in particular, sort of getting it straight out to Nico. Nico Williams, again, fantastic. There was a ball in the first half that he sort of put through the channels for Awoniyi to run onto, which was delicious. That ball always felt on. Nico Williams in general doesn't seem to have a weak foot. He played a lot on his left. He was on the left hand side a few times. He even took a shot with his left foot. He seems like a great player. Jed Spence, who is the question I'd be asking? Because Nico Williams is
too soon.
Unbelievable. Taiwo Awoniyi, very lucky goal, but he had to be there to get there. Really glad he scored for the confidence. I think he needed it. All in all, he looked like a nuisance. I think he did some really positive things. Still looks a bit raw and a bit sloppy at times, but it didn't matter. He got his goal and he was a nuisance and did some good stuff. Amazing. Toffolo, we have to say, we gave him a bit of stick from the Newcastle game. I think he was excellent. I think he did a really good job. So keep that up, and everything that we've mentioned before of how he might not be an adequate replacement whilst Omar Richards is out might not be the thing, because he keeps playing like that. He's earned his spot. And then Dean Henderson.
How could I forget? Jesus.
Unbelievable. I think all in all, great game. He saved a penalty. That in itself warrants positive. But something that I actually wrote down was, after watching it back today, his distribution looked good on the day when we was watching it. But, I mean, some of his throws were pinpoint. It was incredible, his distribution. If you feel confident with him in net, he comes out and claims crosses. His reaction time to get back up after they hit the crossbar and save it was fantastic. Obviously, he saved a penalty. So, definitely no positives from me. I think, sorry if I've waffled on for quite a few minutes there about how good we are, but a lot of special moments. And I think each player was great. I think Joe Worrell possibly on the lower end of that spectrum, but he still did enough. We still got a clean sheet. He still had some bright moments. So all in all, a really positive performance. And I think it's going to encourage a lot of Forest fans that had already written us off after the first Newcastle game. Yeah.
And I suppose that gets us nice and pumped up going into this weekend against the Toffees of Goodison Park, Everton. So once again, we've had a friend of the show, an Everton fan, join us. We're going to take it to Dan right now, Run VT. So hi, Dan. Welcome to the Mr. Rolling podcast. How are you?
I'm not bad, Jacob. How are you?
Yeah, not bad at all, mate. Thank you. Not bad at all. So as a lifelong Evertonian fan, sat in the border city of Chester, where you could pick any team you wanted, how is life as an Everton fan?
Oh, good question. So after the turbulent season, like end of last season, I'm very relieved to still be in the Premier League. Came up to the Burnley game, and I'm not going to lie, I was thinking, because at that point Liverpool was still in all 4 competitions to win them.
Yeah.
and Everton were in the relegation zone. I thought, which cop-out had sold their soul to the devil to relegate us and make all four of them win. So I'm quite happy the fact that we're still in the Premier League. And I'm very happy under Frank Lampard. I think he's youthful. He's got some really good ideas, and it's a lot better than the agent Benitez from the beginning of last season. So yeah,
that's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. You're happy with Frank? That was kind of a caveat question I was going to ask. Is are you you've not had the best start to the season? You form under Frank. He saved you. I'm not going to deny that, but it still wasn't kind of setting the world on fire. Are you genuinely happy under Frank, or are you kind of thinking we could get so and so in at some point?
Who else is there? Is my question. I can't think of anybody better who would come in and make the squad that we've got better. I think we're falling into a trap like we've done for a lot of seasons. If we're not doing well, we'll just fire the next manager. Very similar to Man United, and it's just not working. I think with Frank, I don't know. What he's done, he's reconnected the club with the people, with the fans, and I think all the other managers that we had, Ancelotti, apart from Ancelotti, obviously, he's got the backing of the fans now. I think Frank really values what the fans think, feel. Has understood the club as soon as he's come in and said, right, this is what needs to happen. Yeah. So I just feel like I am genuinely happy under him. It's been a poor start to the season, but to only concede one against Chelsea, who are a top 4 side at home, even though that we have beaten them quite often and we beat them last season, given the fact we've got no striker, it was sort of expected. And then to lose Godfrey and Mina in the middle of the match, who are absolute walls of defenders, is just to lose it to a silly mistake like a push on a player to lead to a penalty is a bit shocking. And then against Villa, I thought we played solid, and the only reason that they scored 2 goals was 2 stupid mistakes. So it's not necessarily, it's individual mistakes leading to the goals. It's not like we've been outclassed. So that's why I'm happy, because last season for a lot of the games, especially in the first half, we were looking like bottom half of the Championship. It was poor, slow, lethargic, just had no fight, no desire. I think Frank's actually got that from the team. So, and again, I'll probably say this throughout. We need a striker, desperate for a striker. I can't believe that the recruitment this season, in the summer has been brilliant. Tarkowski and Cody, you 2 seasons ago, or even last season, you say you got Tarkowski and Cody in your back too. Right, well, that's a solid defence. They could fit into a lot of Premier League teams. So the recruitment's been brilliant. This new guy that we've got from Belgium looks. He reminds me of Yaya Toure, both in stature and the way he plays. Massive. That season he had for City was stupid.
Yeah, he scored 20 goals.
Yeah, I can see him. I could see him. He's got the potential to be like Yaya, but hopefully, like the season he got the 20 goals. But it's on the up. But we need a striker desperately.
Yeah. Going into the weekend's match, who do you think is the main danger man for you guys?
For us, our danger man, I don't know. This is the thing. Our danger man would be Anthony Gordon at the minute, because he is playing in that striker role, and he's really fast, he's creative, he's skillful. But with today and yesterday, with Chelsea coming in with the
they've had
and now 45 million bid, where's his head at?
Yeah.
So it's almost, he is our danger man, but where's his head going to be at the weekend? Is it going to be, I want to go to Chelsea, I'm happy at Everton, let's stay at Everton and see what we can do there? If his head's there, it'd be Anthony Gordon. If not, I would probably say Gray, Damari Gray, great player, as we all know. And then I'm going to say Onana. If he comes on the pitch and he showed glimpses when he came on for the 8 minutes against Villa, if he can reproduce that for, say, 30 minutes, I'd love to see what he can do in the middle of the park going forward.
Yeah.
So yeah, those would be the three. I would say.
I mean, kind of Gordon's kind of coming because he's the one who's playing up front, isn't he? With Calvert-Lewin being injured and that, and I know Demarai Gray's had a bit of a strange career, isn't he? Like he's finally getting game time, finally kicking on, and I know a lot of I think we were linked with Onana. I know, did he turn down West Ham in the end to come to you guys from Lille?
Yeah, he turned down West Ham, and if you think about it, I understand why. So Onana, young guy, has grown up watching Frank Lampard. And now, if you think about when we were watching Frank Lampard, the man was immense. He was colossal.
Yeah.
He came second in the Ballon d'Or one year when he was up against people like Xavi and Iniesta. Obviously, it was a Messi Ronaldo year, but that's the sort of caliber. He's a Premier League winner, Champions League winner, and Onana is almost similar in a Frank Lampard role.
Yeah.
As a central attacking midfielder, who would you want to work under? You'd want to work under Frank Lampard, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I think did Dele Alli say something similar as well when he moved to Everton? It was
Yeah. So that goes to show in terms of the respect that Frank Lampard has and the caliber he has as a player.
Yeah.
And I think he does, and he will get there as a manager. I know he will.
Yeah, because he's a very smart dude, isn't he? Well, Frank Lampard, his IQ's off the charts apparently. Like absolutely, like 180 something.
He's not thick. He's down to earth. He's charming. Is a great way to put it. Yeah, you sort of like, oh, do you know, you buy into him. When you buy into somebody, that's when they usually get the best out of you because you believe in what they say.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what do you think will happen then at the weekend?
Oh, good question. So, I was on the way back from France this weekend and listening to the West Ham Forest game, and I was thinking to myself, how will Everton fare against Forest this weekend coming up? And you've got some dangerous sounding players.
Yeah.
We all saw the caliber of Johnson last season. He was something special. Still is something special. Use this new. Is he Dutch that you've just signed? Is he a Dutch lad? I've forgotten his name.
Mangala.
Big lad. Yeah, Mangala.
Mangala. Yeah, and a 1 year as well.
Yeah, Mangala was all over the pitch. Like
he was.
All the commentators just say Mangala. I was thinking, who's this guy? He's everywhere.
Yeah, he was fantastic. Yeah,
he sounded scary. And then Neco Williams, I naturally hate him. Being a former cop-out. But again, even when he was at Liverpool and you saw glimpses of him, I thought, do you know what? He's actually a decent player. And then you've signed Henderson, which is an absolute coup for anybody. He's a brilliant goalkeeper. So I think you've got danger throughout, everywhere.
Yeah.
But makes me think. Oh, sorry, Jacob, go for it.
No, I was just gonna say. I think I was gonna go for a 2-2.
Yeah.
But I think I might even stack on a 2-1 Forest. I just think we might have a kind of shock or a surprise factor, maybe.
That is something I thought, but then I also thought, let's take a look at what West Ham did. They hit the underside of the bar twice.
Yeah.
They missed a penalty.
Mm-hmm.
They had a goal ruled out for offside.
Correctly. No, that was us. That was us, the offside.
That was your offside.
Yeah.
Theirs was ruled out as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, for a push. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was Antonio. We pushed him at the edge of the box.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, it's just not been West Ham's day here. And then I thought, put Everton in that situation at home at Goodison, where it's a very intimidating atmosphere. You'll hear a lot of players saying going to Everton, going to Goodison is not a nice experience.
Yeah.
Old school. The fans are almost on the pitch. They were on the pitch last season. It's the big factor for me is our lack of striker, and I don't know where we're going to score. I'm not saying that Gray does have a goal in his bag. Gordon can score. I want to see what Onana can do in terms of his scoring ability. Maybe we need to play Rondon and just give you centre backs a little bit of a
Yeah, that's a good shout. I was thinking, you talking about Gordon earlier. I thought, you can have as many flicks and tricks as he wants, but we play 3 strong centre backs, and yeah. So it's interesting. I think Rondon would probably be a kind of more of a better option for this game. I think, especially you're going to play against 3 centre backs type thing.
And that's it. So I can't see us conceding.
Okay.
It's weird because we've scored. So I'm going to go 1-0 Everton.
Yep.
Or 0-0, realistically.
Okay.
Because I can't see us conceding unless it's a stupid mistake. But having had 2 matches of stupid mistakes, I'm pretty sure they'll be on it now. Like we can't mess up.
Can't keep going. Yeah.
We can't do that. However, I am very aware of the threat that you pose.
Yeah.
So I am going to go 0-0 or 1-0 Everton.
And I'll stick with 2-1 Forest or 2-all.
Yes, okay. I don't like the sound of the first one.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Dan. And I would say all the best for the weekend, but I don't mean it because I want us to win.
No, I hope you have a crap weekend as well, mate.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much.
Well,
thank you very much to Dan there. That was a really great insight into what should be a really good game. And obviously, I'm still here thinking 2-1 Forest. I think the lack of striker that they've got, they've clearly got an issue there. The person that's actually playing up front, Gordon, may not even be an Everton player by the time we get to that game. So, I'm kind of thinking it's not going to necessarily. Yeah, I'm going 2-1. I don't know. I don't want to overcommit and say it'll be easy, but I just got a feeling that if we carried that performance against West Ham into that game, we could really come out with something there.
Yeah.
JJ, what do you think is going to happen?
I don't think it's going to be easy. I think any game away in the Premiership is going to be difficult. They've got a weird squad, really. Like there are a few players in there that are generally quite decent, but it just doesn't seem to work for them, and I'm not sure what it is. But the addition of Tarkowski and Conor Cody at the back, I think, is bad for us because they are obviously 2 great defenders. So that could mean that they're sort of goals conceded and maybe limited a bit more. So I don't think it's going to be easy. Not sure if we're going to be able to play the exact same way we did against West Ham. Still confident that we could get the result. Before I say my prediction, we need to point out that we both said 1-0 Forest v West Ham. So that's a successful tick. And I'm going to follow on with another win for Forest, and I'm going to go for 2-0.
2-0 clean sheet.
Clean sheet. I think hopefully Kouyaté can come back and play. He looked to be struggling when he went off against West Ham. I think he looked really good. Steve Cook's a more than adequate replacement, so fine. But I think Kouyaté, McKenna and Worrell look to be quite a solid piece. Particularly McKenna, I think, just to go back to the West Ham game, he seemed to block everything that was coming at him, including a fantastic save, which was eventually given as a penalty. But he was always there, so he's going to be key. Anthony Gordon, I think Kouyaté could probably get the better of him. He's still quite raw and young as a talent. I think the main thing, possibly we look like we can keep a clean sheet for me, but I think the more difficult part is trying to get up the pitch and get our attacker players in against those, like I said, 2 great centre backs. So, we've made a few new signings since then, which we'll obviously talk about in a moment, but still feeling quite confident. I think it's our chance to ride it, and if we can get 6 points prior to the Spurs and City game, I'd be very, very happy with that return.
Yeah, absolutely. So dropping us now into the League Cup against Grimsby. It's away, isn't it, against Grimsby?
Yes, it is, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of them things. I don't want to kind of belittle it because, let's face it, a run in any cup is fun as a fan. But I maybe not quite couldn't care less, but I don't really mind if we lose or win. It's an odd position to be in. I want Cooper to make 11 changes. I want to give everyone who's not having a game, because we've got some players now, a run out, and I think we'll win. I think we'll win on penalties because they go straight to penalties, don't they, in the League Cup? So I think we'll win on penalties. But yeah, I just think it'll be one of them games where you kind of maybe listen to it on the radio and think, I can't believe I spent 2 hours of my life listening to that. Hopefully it's not, but I don't mind either way. But I'm going Forest on penalties.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to watch it, and I'll definitely think, why did I waste my time? Sure. Why did I waste my time listening and watching that? I'm with you. I think the Carabao Cup in general couldn't care about it. Oh, it's good. It writes itself, Jacob. You're welcome, everyone. I've lost what I was saying. I couldn't care less. If we go out the cup, great. Focus on the league. If we stick in the cup, cool, nice one. Let's carry on. It's not really it for me. Every other time that we've gone out the cup in recent years, it's been quite early on in the season, and you sort of think, yeah, we've just lost to Barnsley in the cup again, but let's focus on the league. So I think it will be. I think we're not going to see too many starting players. Maybe it's a good chance to get minutes into these new signings. Maybe that could make us a bit stronger, because obviously we've got several of them. I think, the likes of Bianconi, maybe Yates might return, get Dennis a bit of time on the pitch. Surridge can have a bit of a go. We're not going to be completely weak, but certainly don't want to go too strong with Spurs and City coming up. So not that bothered. I think we'll win. I'm not even going to bother putting a prediction on it really, because it's hard to tell, because depends what Forest squad's out there. Grimsby have just got promoted, so they'll possibly be riding a bit of momentum. Who knows? But either way, if we win, fantastic. If we lose, I won't be crying about it, and back to the Premier League we go.
Absolutely. Essentially, I suppose you're mentioning of minutes for Dennis is a nice segue into signings we've made since we last spoke, which are Remo Freuler from Atalanta, Emmanuel Dennis from Watford, and Cheikhou Kouyaté on a free transfer, but he was at West Ham last. I mean, just 3 strong signings, aren't they? I mean, Remo Freuler's been playing Champions League football. He's been Atalanta captain. Dennis has scored double-figure Premier League goals before, and Cheikhou Kouyaté is a kind of a well-seasoned Premier League midfielder, isn't he? So they're really strong signings, and apparently all reports are confirming that we're going to sign Houssem Aouar from Lyon, which is, anyone who's played Football Manager knows that he's a must at the start of any save. So it's just phenomenal business. I don't know how we're going to get all these players on the pitch. I don't know. I'd love to know the game plan behind it. Are we thinking it's a long season with a weird break in the middle and a bigger squad with high quality is kind of going to get us through it? I don't know what the game plan is, but I love it. I really, really love it.
Yeah, big fan. Dennis, I'm sure we've spoken on the podcast before about him, but really rate him. I think he's great. Definitely wanted him in. When we were originally linked with him, I was pleased about that because I think he's fantastic. Awoniyi, I thought had a really good game and was a nuisance. Surridge came on a lot bright, so chuck Dennis into the mix as well, and all of a sudden our attacking options are brilliant. Obviously, I think he goes ahead of Surridge. Not sure he immediately goes ahead of Awoniyi at the start. I think Awoniyi deserves a start against Everton, but Dennis is an option. You can't really ask for too much. Interested to sort of see him and Awoniyi together at some point. Whether that means Johnson gets taken off, I'm not sure, but great signing. Kouyaté is more of a risk-free cover option, I think. I think he can play centre-back.
Centre-back as well.
Yeah, that's it. So cover in that respect, not going to set the world on fire, but good to have. Freuler, people seem to be quite excited about him. He seems to be a good prospect. But this Aouar guy, know him from highlight reels that I've seen over the past few days, but people are really excited about him. He looks fantastic. You Football Manager lot think he's the Jesus of Football Manager. So I'd sort of, as it stands when we're recording this podcast, he's not in. He might be by the time it's out. But I'd be very surprised if we do have him, because he's been linked to Arsenal, City, Man U, all the lots. So even Juventus, I believe. So if after all that he comes to Forest, I think it's an incredible job from the recruitment team. So very interested to see that one. Very interested to see where that leaves Jesse Lingard as well. Very interested to see where Freuler leaves Mangala, O'Brien, Yates, possibly James Garner, and Dennis. You know, you've got Surgeon Awani. So complex puzzle, but a great problem to have, having so many good players. It feels like we're almost building a bit of a squad of European talent, people that have played in Europa that could, or Champions League, that could do a job maybe next season if we play our cards right this season. So yeah, great recruitment as we seem to say a lot. So not got much to complain about at the minute.
No, I mean, you did touch on James Garner there slightly. So it's a question I'd like to ask any listeners, and I'll make sure JJ puts it on our Twitter as well as a poll. With all these signings that have come in, you know, we're quite heavy in centre midfield right now. Would you still take James Garner? I think everyone knows my answer. I'm worried about an inflated squad. You know, you've seen it play teams before. My issue isn't with Garner; it's with what we've already signed, type thing. So, you know, would you, with all the signings we've already made and possibly to make, would you still take James Garner?
I think it's a shame myself that. I know you weren't asking me, but I'm going to say my opinion anyway. I think it's a shame that Man U didn't make him available a few weeks ago. I think we definitely would have gone for that straight away. Yeah. My reasoning for getting him in would be that he can cover the 10 role as well. But if we've got this Aouar guy in as well, maybe he's not needed.
Who?
I don't know how to say his name. Aouar?
Aouar.
Aouar. However you say it.
I like to say Aouar.
Uar. Well, he maybe we don't need him to cover the 10 anymore. Also, you've got the question of Ryan Yates is vice captain, yet looks to be quite far down the pecking order. So adding someone else to go above him, does that make sense? Mangala and O'Brien to me certainly look two great ones, and Freuler should be up there as well. So not sure it makes sense, but again, with the Keenan Davis, Jed Spence type players, I'd take him in a heartbeat just because of emotion, but I don't think it would be too sensible.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the kind of inflated squad of quality is something to do with the 5 subs you can make, because I'm starting to think with the team that he's building, you're going to see people like Ryan Yates is going to play away centre midfield, and at home it's going to be O'Brien or Freuler or whatever combination of Mangala plus 1 is. And you know, if we're winning 1-0 with 10 minutes to go, you know, he can make 5 changes, which is phenomenal. You know what I mean? Like, he can change, you know, take with the goalkeeper, half the team, half the outfield players. So it's, I think, you know, knowing how tactically astute Steve Cooper is, that kind of strikes me right now as we're talking about it. That's probably what the game plan is, to be able to field a kind of another version of a formation type thing very quickly, very easily, with still lots of quality. So, yeah. That's you know, I think it's going to be a really, really, really interesting to see, especially not necessarily going into the World Cup where there's a break, because I think everyone will still be kind of busting a gut. But I think when we come back into December, you know, Boxing Day, when we have that first game back, there's a lot of football to be played after Boxing Day. You know, the season doesn't end right until the end of May this year, so really interesting. But yeah, I mean, a huge thanks. I don't know if anyone's seen it from our Twitter or if you follow Forest all over as well. Huge thank you to Chris and Matt for having us on. Really, really enjoyed talking to kind of fellow huge Forest fans as well. It's just a really, really enjoyable chat, and just nice to get on with people and get on, eh?
Yeah, and you can follow Forest All Over podcast on NFFC All Over on Twitter and find all their other links from there. We were on their latest episode, as Jacob's just mentioned, so give it a listen, but listen to their back catalogue and also listen to their upcoming ones, because they are a great podcast. Who doesn't want more Forest content? And also, Chris is a very nice guy. Matt, not so much, because he ditched us and didn't show up to the recording.
Yeah, didn't bother showing up.
Didn't fancy it, did he? But yeah, Chris, really nice guy. We stuck about after and probably annoyed him and carried on talking to him, but really nice guy. It's funny when they just absolutely have contempt for each other throughout the episode, so give them a listen as well.
Well, that's all for this episode of the Miss Rolling podcast. As always, if you are joining us again, then thank you very much for coming back. You're a lunatic, but we love you. And if you join us for the first time, it's been great to have you. Please come back again and be one of the lunatics. You Reds!
And about my hair, don't bully me.